Hello, Betty Crosby here. It's been a few days and a couple of weeks, I think, since I last posted. But, people have to take a break. You can't deal with just looking at bad news 24 hours a day without it getting to you. So everybody needs a break from bad news once in a while. So I took mine and have returned somewhat refreshed, but still very troubled, as are you. I am sure all of you practically uh, who look at the news, who cruise the news to try to find a balance in what the CBC or the BBC or these Western nations are putting out, because it's a different story from what India talks about, from what Russia talks about, from what Ukraine says, from what, all of the nations who are involved in trying to use diplomacy to solve some of the world's problems, are having difficulty using diplomacy when there are so many gung-ho people in different positions of authority who simply want to, play the war card. Let's get more missiles in there. Let's get more technical. The names of the weapons have become so technical till it defies description. I have no idea what they are, except they bring death and destruction. And I think that's enough to know. And but what I want to talk about today is gasoline. A few years ago, not a few years ago, many years ago, 25 years and counting years ago, I was leaving an environmental meeting with a young friend who was anxious to tell me about a new system he had devised to operate his car without using gasoline per se. I don't think he was using any gasoline, but I could be mistaken, and he was simply mixing it in with gasoline the way ethanol is done today. But my young friend, he had a system by which he used bacon grease or fried grease of any kind, from chicken or French fries or whatever. He went around to the restaurants who use a lot of grease because they do a lot of frying, and frying is good. Southerners are big on frying. I've seen everything fried in the South, from sandwiches to pickles to whatever. So frying is good, a certain amount of it, but it's difficult because frying things is also addictive. It doesn't taste like home unless it's fried. But anyway, my friend, he had a deal going on with some of these restaurants that they would save him the fats that they would drain after each shift and dispose of. I don't know how they disposed of them before my friend came along, but he would take all the fat, that all the grease and oil, and where things had been fried. And I don't know exactly what his process was. He was explaining it to me, but it's kind of complicated, and I shy away from anything about automobile motors, having never learned anything about them. Now it's too late because they are all encased with then sealed up component that you can't even get in there to see what could possibly be a cause of your car not working right. Well, my friend said that his car was working fine. He had been driving around town with it. It was a little slow to start, but once it would get going, it seemed like it ran pretty much like it was running on regular gasoline. And I thought this was really great because my friend also explained to me that most of the ethanol that was being more or less experimenting with a short time before, or was just now gaining traction, that a lot of it, if not most of it, was made from wood chips from cutting down the trees, which struck me with the horror that you would cut down trees to blend this with gasoline or to use it primarily as the power for a car. But later I learned that bringing it up to date, that most ethanol is made from corn. And this is not any kind of corn husk or shells or whatever. It's actually the ear of the corn, the kind we eat and butter it up, and it tastes so lovely. That's what now is being stirred into ethanol, is food. Corn is food. It's one of the great foodstuffs of the world. And the idea that this food has to be sacrificed to get the most, to expand the capacity of the volume of gasoline is a weird situation. It really is weird because Biden just made the announcement that because there has been some restrictions on the use of food for ethanol, to make ethanol, Biden's going to lift, he's already said he is lifting these restrictions. So that now what is going to be going into ethanol is going to be where it will be whatever it takes to get this ethanol gas out so it can be blended with the regular gasoline and hopefully make the price of that gasoline go down. But it's kind of it's too odd for me to assimilate that your Biden is doing this at the very same time that he is warning the U.S. public, and by extension the Canadian public, because Trudeau government, they're just a yes man for whatever Biden does. Well, there may be a few exceptions, but I can't think of any right now. And that at the same time, he's warning of food scarcity. So we're going to be sacrificing food, one of the great food categories of the world, to expand the volume of gasoline in the hopes that it will make the price of gasoline go down so that by the time the elections come around, the midterms, Biden won't have this high cost of gasoline weighing on his head like like a pile of corn husk, shall I say, instead of what I really want to say. And anyway, that is my post for today. Let's think about that, about the odd choices that are being put forward for us to not to debate or to have any hope of influence in any way, but just understand better maybe what is being shoved down our throats, the kinds of choices we're looking at. So anyway, that's my post for today. But there are other things that I really want to talk about that are in line with this ethanol business. So next time, okay. Thank you. Bye.